Well, as you know, learning English is not easy for obvious reasons, but understanding native speakers is a whole different thing altogether. Sometimes it feels like you're learning this language, and then when you hear a native speaker talk, it's like it's a completely different language. What is going on? My friends invited me to go to the beach, but I don't want to go. But do not worry. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to finally understand native speakers almost 100% of the time. And honestly, it only comes down to 3 main things. And honestly, depending on your level, by the end of this video, you could potentially unlock complete understanding of what native speakers say when they talk. So get comfortable and let's begin. And the first one is mindset/focus shift. And let me explain what that means. When you're listening to something that you're struggling to understand, usually, I'm not saying you do this, but in general, we tend to panic and freak out and get a little nervous and try to think back to what was said 2 seconds ago, and then you keep missing everything that's being said currently, and it's just a mess, and it's impossible to understand anything this way. So the number one thing you want to think about is focusing only on things that you understand. Everything else doesn't exist. If you don't know this word, just forget about it. And generally, depending on your level, you'll be able to sort of build and recreate the whole picture of what's going on, even if you're just guessing, based only on the words that you do know. And this is typically how most native speakers listen to one another and recognize what the overall idea of the statement is. And the most important thing here is focus words. Focus words are basically the most important word in your sentence, thought group, clause, or phrase. And those focus words are typically emphasized, so we hit them harder, by either a pitch change or a speed change, or commonly both. You will slow down and change your pitch on that stressed syllable or vowel of the stressed syllable of the focus word. But that aside, listen to the focus words because those are the most important words in your sentence. Check this out right here. My friends invited me to go to the beach, but I don't want to go. Now, what I want to emphasize when I say this is obviously who did it, pretty important to this entire thing. I want to emphasize the action itself because, again, it's very important to understand what's going on. It's important to the story. Now, where, in this case, I do want to emphasize that as well because it could be a few different places, but this is the specific one. Now, but is a very, very strong conjunction because it introduces a contrast. And it fully sets up the contrasting idea that is going to come afterwards. So I want to hit that a little harder. And then whatever the main point of the contrasting idea is, I don't want to go. It's not go because it's the opposite for me in my sentence. So these are the focus words I will be emphasizing. So now check this out. Very simple, right? Let's say I get rid of everything else. And this is what we're left with. These are the most important ideas that I decided to sort of include in the sentence, and I decided to highlight them given that they are the most important ideas. So this is what you get. Friends invited, beach, but don't want. Even just with that, you can understand what's going on, or you can make a very solid logical conclusion as to what the story is and what I'm trying to say without all of the extra stuff, right? So that's my tip for you. Listen for those most important ideas and focus only on the words that you do know. You can try to build the idea. And the more you listen, the more comfortable you'll get. And as you continue learning English and learning more vocabulary and grammar, more will unlock for you down the line. It'll just continue unlocking and unlocking and growing. But for the time being, if you're struggling with understanding stuff, this is a great way to just change the way you look at it and change things that you cling onto. Because clinging onto things that you don't know or don't understand is pointless. It's not going to help you understand the message of the sentence. But trying to focus only on the things that you're familiar with and building the story, completing the story on your own will, most of the time, help you understand what's going on. Now, the second thing is reductions. To reduce in English means to make something smaller. Now, if we have focus words, the most important words in our sentence, that means everything else is less important. So if it's less important, we can try to make it smaller to the best of our ability. And basically what reductions in English are, and this is what native speakers do all the time, is making it more effortless. You have some very strong sounds that require a lot of work. So we're going to just simplify that and replace it with a different sound that, commonly will be the schwa sound, the most effortless, unstressed vowel sound in English that we tend to use for most of these reductions, because we need to create even more of a contrast when we speak. And this process is basically just simplifying sounds that take effort. For example, this word right here, to, right? The final or the only vowel sound of this word is oo. This is a very high effort sound. Ooh, so much tension, and you do so much with your lips. So why don't we just replace ooh with the schwa sound And instead of saying to, why don't we just say ta, ta? And that's what we do all the time, ta. So instead of saying invited me to go, we're gonna say invited me to go, to go. Pretty cool, right? So we're gonna do that here. We're gonna do that here as well. And we're going to do that here as well. Now, the next point is diphthongs, double sounds. We have one right here, and it's I in my. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to replace it with the schwa sound. Instead of saying my friends, we're just going to say my friends, my friends. Because my, in this case, we decided is not an important word. Friends is, so we're going to just jump right over it as quickly as we can. My friends, my friends. And this one right here, this word I, is also the same sound, and we're gonna do the same thing, really. We're gonna do the same thing. But I don't wanna go, or but I don't wanna go. I don't wanna go, right? So we're not gonna say I. I is two vowels in one. We call that a diphthong. No, we're just gonna replace it with one. Now with go, we can't really do anything because it's go and it has to be go, but instead of making the O part of it very apparent, very obvious, and instead of splitting it 50-50 between o and o, we're gonna sort of do like 80-20. So we don't say go, we say go, go, it's very quick, go. But that's easy for you, so don't worry about it. Now, other popular reductions. Flap T. What is flap T? Flap T is our way of simplifying and making t much easier, because t is a highly aspirated sound, which means we use a lot of air to make the sound t. And we don't always need to do it, especially when T is between two vowels, even if it's in two separate words. And what we're gonna do with this sound, instead, we're gonna replace it with a very soft, very easy d sound. So think of the word wedding. This sound that you make when you say wedding, that's what you want. D, 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 d. It's a light tap. D. Instead of saying t, or instead of saying d, we're gonna just d, 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 d. Very light, very simple. Now, let's identify all the T's between two vowels. Of course, we have it here. It's our focus word, but it's not that big of a change. It's more natural to say invited rather than invited, right? Now check this out. This T is between two vowels. Me, too, right? It's in two different words, but we're gonna connect everything, and that's our third step, so don't worry about it. But we are gonna do that. So we're gonna replace this one. Go to, same thing. This T is between two vowels. This one and this one. Pretty good. Now, this is a whole different story. This is a whole different situation, because we basically just say wanna, right? Because of the schwa sound, we just say wanna. It's much easier. Don't wanna. Now, this one also is between two vowels. So all of these T's are going to be basically flap T's. And it's gonna sound a little weird, separated and slow like this, but bear with me. M, friends, invited. Let's put it together. Mita, mita, right? Flap T and schwa, mita. Go to, the beach. Connect. but I, right? Not but I don't wanna go. And now we are going to connect stuff. Oh yes, and that's the best thing. That's step number 3. We call that linking. When you link from one sound to the other, when it's in 2 different words, side by side. Now, one of the most common linking techniques is linking from a consonant to a vowel. So if your first word ends with a consonant sound and your second word or next word starts with a vowel, it's a very easy connection. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna treat this ending consonant sound as the first sound of the next word. For example, this is a very good one right here. Friends, right? Invited. So we're gonna take this and put it or treat it as the first sound of the word invited, which we get zinvited. Zinvited. And now you say, my friends invited. Friends invited. Linking, just like that. Now, this is kind of like a linking technique with flap T, so that's fine. Here, from vowel to consonant, again, it's very easy. You just don't stop the vowel. Don't create a space. Move on straight to the consonant. So, me to go. Connected, me to go. Same thing here, to the beach. You can say it all, just one vibration. But we figured that out already. Same thing, very easy, vowel to consonant, very easy to do that, right? Wanna go. Same thing here. So we open up a nice little picture here. Now, the next linking technique is from a stop consonant to any other consonant. So what a stop consonant is basically a consonant that you just can't hold forever, right? We have continuant consonants like S, letter S sounds S, I can just go on forever. But something like D or T, right? We stop it. And we do that by releasing the sound. For example, with D, right? You set it up first. That's step number 1. Put your tongue in the right place. Then you blow out air and vocal vibrations. You release that, and you release the tongue at the same time. That's step number 2, to produce the sound. D, D, D. If you don't release your tongue, nothing's gonna happen, right? So what you do here is just, you do not release, and you move on straight to the next consonant. So this is a good example of this. Invited me. So I'm not gonna say D. I'm not gonna release, I'm gonna set up, but then I'm gonna move on straight to right after that. And what I'm gonna get is invited me. Invited me. Right? I'm not gonna say invited me. Invited me. It's really weird when you do it slowly, but that's exactly what it is. Invited me. Same here. Don't release it. Don't wanna, right? This sound is a little weird because the W sound is actually, well, it's kind of like ooh that transitions into w. So you can treat it sort of like a vowel sound, but T's, we have a stop T, which is a T at the end of the word where we don't release it usually. So do the same thing here. Don't wanna. So that's what we do here. And everything else is pretty simple because, we don't say to because we replace both of those with wanna go. We're gonna keep the pause here just because but is such an important thing. I think, stopping here for a second will emphasize the contrast even more. But everything else we can connect very easily here. And that's exactly what a native speaker is going to do. We always want to say one sentence like it's one word as much as possible. Single vibration. So with everything here, this is what we get with this sentence. Doing it slowly is super weird, but I'm gonna try anyway, okay? My friends invited me to go to the beach, but I don't wanna go. So 2 vibrations here because we do want to stop for this contrast to emphasize it more. My friends invited me to go to the beach, but I don't want to go. My friends invited me to go to the beach, but I don't want to go. My friends invited me to go to the beach, but I don't want to go. And these three elements, focus words, reductions, and linking, is exactly why it's so difficult to understand native speakers, because you're typically not taught this when you learn grammar or learn vocabulary, but it is a very important and very essential thing that we do when we speak English on a daily basis, right? We always want to connect. We always want to create contrast between important words and less important words, so we do reductions. But before any of that, we choose our focus words, the most important words, because the message that you're trying to communicate and the whole purpose behind why you're saying this sentence and what you want to get out of it is going to sort of dictate which words are going to be focus words for you. Now, I do want to add that this one is sort of optional, because most people will say I, but again, doing it, with a very short E at the end. It's not my, it's my. Very quick, right? So one more time. My friends invited me to go to the beach, but I don't want to go. But I don't want to go. My friends invited me to go to the beach, but I don't want to go. Right? And that's what you get. So being mindful and being aware of these things will help you understand people very easily. But you also need to practice this with your own speech, because that's exactly how you are going to learn how to understand native speakers almost 100% of the time. And I say almost 100% because, sometimes people talk with their mouth full, while they're eating. Sometimes people mumble, and, it's not language learning reasons that come into play. This is very, very useful, and I really want you to start thinking about it and, start paying attention to other people doing this when you listen to something in English. I actually teach all of this stuff in great detail in my brand new, well, it's not brand new, but it's recently updated pronunciation hacking online course. We tackle all the individual sounds, how to make them, and then we talk about focus words, linking, reductions, and all of the things that sort of come into play when it comes to speaking English and your pronunciation, but also your ability to understand native speakers. So if you want to get some in-depth training on this with a lot of practice and, in a really fun way, check it out. The link is going to be down below. It's a really great course. I'm so proud of it and I love it so much. And it's been around for a while now, but I literally just recently updated it. And now it's even better, even fuller, and has even more information like all of this stuff. The previous versions didn't have this really. So I hope to see you there. It's going to be so much fun. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to know more about some of this stuff, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll be happy to make a video about it. And as always, this has been English with Venya, a channel where we level up and never look back. And I hope to see you again in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do it and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. I will see you in the next video, but also I hope to see you in the course, because I do teach it and I do weekly practice sessions on Zoom as well for certain package or certain tiers of the course. So just find out more about it and decide if it's right for you or if you want it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.